Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Tuesday, May 5th, 2020, and we again find ourselves in the final hour of the trading day. I mention this each day, but in my opinion, the most valid time for me to make my buying and selling decisions is right at the end of the day. In the last hour, and particularly in the last few minutes, I say this because during the day, you have the algorithms and the day traders. They are the one controlling the price. At the end of the day, you have the large financial institutions. They start waking up. They start making their end of day decisions. They are dealing with the most money. They have very, very smart people. They have the best technology. They have the best information and research. And at the end of the day, they come in and start placing their bets, and they start taking the price control away from the day traders and the algorithms, and they move it to what, in my opinion, is the most valid price of the day. And therefore, I like to piggyback on what they are doing at the end of the day. So thank you so much for coming by. I always look forward to seeing everyone. I'm just so grateful that we have such a great group, just great insights and great poems and great comments and great analysis, and it's just a great group. So thank you all for coming. I really hope that by spending time here and investing your time here, you're learning some good trading principles. So anyway, let's take a look. Well, we're having a big day today. The market is up the Dow is up 368 points, up 1.55%. NASDAQ's having a big day, up 193 points, up 2.22%, and the S&P is up 52 points, up 1.85%. So let's take a look. Hey, we have Dan here. Hey, Dan, peace to you, brother. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming by. Miko25 is here. Hello. Good to see you, sir. He says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you. Bob is here. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Good to see you as well. Dirk is here. Hello, Greg and all. Hello, Dirk. Gert is here. Hey, Gert, good to see you. Thank you for coming by. Appreciate you being here. So, all right. Well, interesting day. So listen, this is the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. We're going to come back. We're going to take a look at my current positions. We're going to talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, what methodology I was using, what my plan was, and then more importantly, how I'm going to manage them either to the upside or to the downside. After that, some of you have been kind enough to share your trades with the group, and I have those on the board, and we will be going through those as well, see how those are doing. After that, like every day, I like to spend a few minutes on trader psychology, talking about the importance of having a plan and then the importance of following the plan. And it really comes down to psychology and discipline. It's important to learn how to trade. It is important to learn technicals and support, resistance, indicators, entries, exits. But that is so that you can come up with the trading plan. Then following your trading plan's a whole other challenge. Then you have emotions involved, fear and greed and fear of missing out and don't want to lose gains, a whole myriad of issues. And that's the difficult part of trading. The technical part is not that difficult. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's just the psychology. And in my opinion, the best way to follow your plan is just reduce your position size. That way you don't have your emotions heightened and amplified, and that way you can stay with the plan. If you want to be a long-term, successful, profitable trader, really, you have to follow your plan. That's the only way to do it. So we'll talk about that. After that, we're going to go down through my watch list, see if there's any potential entries for today. I have 3 requirements before I take a trade. 1, I want to see a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up. The more, the better. I look at each indicator as a group of buyers, and you will put yourself in the position to have the best chance of having a profit if you're in the company with as many other buyers as possible. One group of buyer or one indicator equals one group of buyers. Another indicator lining up at the same time is another group of buyers. And the more buyers, the better. If you're the only person buying and everyone's selling, just to take it to the opposite extreme, you're going to have a very tough time having a profitable trade. So that's what I look for. Confluence or combination of indicators, or another way to say it, a confluence or combination of groups of buyers. Step 2, I want to make sure I have a good risk to reward ratio. I want to be able to make at least 2 times or more to the upside based on valid resistance above me compared to what valid support is below me. I use ATR channels as a guide. I use RSI levels as a guide. But regardless of what you use, just make sure that you have a valid potential to make 2 or times more above you based upon the resistance compared to valid support below you. And the number 3, do not have too many correlated positions. Diversify, have some autos or have some tech and have some tobacco and have some healthcare, whatever. Diversify it up a little bit. If you're all loaded up in tech and you have a big day in tech, well, of course you do really well. But if it goes the opposite way, you would be happy if you had a little diversification. And I think it's important to diversify even outside of equities, into other things like gold and bond and silver and oil, just to get as diversified as you can. All right, so then I'm going to go down through the watch list. I'm going to look for those 3 requirements. If I find something that looks good at the end of the day, meets all those requirements, I'll go ahead and place an order right before the close. After the market closes, if anybody has any questions for me, please let me know. Happy to answer them. If you need any clarification on anything I discussed today, please let me know. If you have any stock symbols that you would like me to take a look at that you think would be helpful to you or the group and you'd like my opinion on it before the market closes, please go ahead, put them in the chat. Happy to do that. Just make sure you put a star by it so that I know that it's time sensitive. All right, so that's the plan for today. If you could be so kind and hold on, I'm going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer and I will be back in about 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, thanks for holding through that with me. Hey, Frank is here. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you, Frank. Thank you so much. Steve-O is here. Hello, Steve-O. I like that name. Appreciate you being here. Scatty13. Hey, Scatty, how you doing? Good to see you as always. Marco is here. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Appreciate you being here from Slovenia tonight, or tonight. And hope you're doing well. Zach is here. Hey, Zach, hello to you. David is here. Hi, David. Good to see you, my friend. Always nice to have you. Frank says, oh, we have a poem. Yes, you will lose money. There's a pitch you want to ditch. Risk managers know losses are baked in our cake. We try to be right, but a punch goes with the fight. Sounds funny, but it's how we make money. Ah, it's good. Let's try it again. Poem. Yes, you will lose money. There's a pitch you want to ditch. Risk managers know losses are baked in your cake, in our cake. We try to be right, but a punch goes with the fight. That's true. Sounds funny, but it's how we make money. Really, really good, Frank. Really, really good. Thank you, sir. As always, I always look forward to those. They're just spot on. Zach is here. Zach1662. Hey, buddy. Nice to have you here. Gert says, bought OMAB today. Entry 30.65. Stop loss 27.58. Because to me had V2 yesterday with large range expansion. Target of at least 38. RSI at 70 was at a price of 60. Well, let's take a look at that. OMAB. $30.65. $30.65. All right. There, we've got you on the board, Gert. OMAB. So, yes, we did have a V2 yesterday. We technically had a V1 as well, but a real valid V2. Big bar up yesterday above the 50 RSI. We had a crossover. That's all good. So, all right. Well, make sure you just have a plan for that trade, Gert. It sounds like you do. So that is what's important. Okay. All right. Well, let's get to it. Russell 2000. So I did buy the Russell 2000 back here on the 1st of May when we had the 10 cross over the 50 SMA. This is a good back-tested approach. Doesn't always work, but it is one of the better ones out there. It has really good results. And, you know, the nice thing with the moving average crossover is that it's structured to get you out quickly if you are wrong. And if there's going to be a big monster trend, well, you'll be in it if you're on the right side of the crossover. So I did buy it back there on May 1st at 125.01. Yesterday went down, reversed back up, closed slightly positive tonight. Today, great day. Hit 2 profit targets. Hit the first one here at the open at 128.10. Hit the second one at 129.89. This is a good example of why I like to phase out at certain levels when the market goes up. Not the entire position, but a portion of the position. I like to take profits, but not all of it when it goes up my way. And I was really thankful to have grabbed that one up there within a couple cents of the high. One thing that concerns me a little bit, Zach, if you're out there, if we draw the Fibonacci lines, here's the previous high, here's the previous low. Well, here's the 50% Fibonacci right here. So a retracement up to the 50, see how it got slightly above it and rejected it today? I don't like that very much. So what I do consider that a red flag. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quarter of the position off. Now I already phased out of two profit targets today, which is fine. That's done, locked in. The market can't take that away. This is a bit of a red flag for me here today on a couple reasons. One, it rejected the 50 fib number here, and then also I don't like this kind of reversal bar that we've had. But I'm not going to take the whole position off. I am just going to take a quarter of what I have off and lock that in there because of the rejection of that 50 Fibonacci rejection point that I just drew there. So anyway, so far so good. Always glad to have profit targets. And like I said, because it did reject the 50 fib, I am going to take a quarter off. To the downside, if we close below both the 10 and the 50, I will take half my position. If the 10 crosses under the 50, I will take the other half. And of course, I have an emergency stop here, which is 2 ATRs below me, which is $10.10 below my entry. That always comes into play. To the upside, if it keeps going up, I will continue to phase out. 70 RSI will be my target. You can see this orange line up here. This would be 1 ATR away from my entry. So right now, this is just kind of normal expected range. If we can get above this, that would be a good sign that we might be moving up further. So I have a rule: whenever it moves more than 1 ATR from my entry, then I will start to trail it with a close below the previous low. But anyway, up really nice today, and very happy to have those profit targets. All right, next one, world famous SPY trade. Okay, I know everybody gets tired of hearing this, but in case we have some new viewers, I do want to explain what I'm doing. So I do buy the SPY every day at the close. I hold it overnight. I take that overnight risk and I sell it the first thing the next morning. I do this based upon the numbers from this back test. This is from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest. They tested two approaches, approach number one, approach number two. They did this every day since 1993. Approach number one, buy the SPY at the open, hold through the day, sell at the close. This approach every day since 1993 returned a negative 13.9%. But the opposite approach, which is what I do, buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight, take the overnight risk, sell the first thing the next morning, positive 634.2%. So a huge dramatic difference between when you buy it and when you sell it. Now, past performance is no guarantee of future results. That is true. This can be a wild trading system. But if you position size correctly, not so bad, right? I just look at this as an ongoing trade forever. There's going to be ups and downs. 2019 was a really great year for me. 2020 has not been so hot tamale, but it has been getting better lately. And you can see, you know, over time, boy, you can have a drawdown for a couple years and a year, right? But over time, it has proven itself so far. Doesn't mean it's going to in the future, but if I'm going to allocate money towards something, I'm going to allocate it towards something that has a positive expectancy like this does. So that being said, I did buy the SPY yesterday at 283.57 right at the close, sold it this morning at 286.57. Do I have 257s? I do. So it's exactly $3 overnight, about 1%. So not too bad. So happy with that. It is higher than where I bought it, but that's okay because that is the approach, just the overnight SPY approach. You know, people ask, you know, why does this work over time? And it's because, you know, you are taking the overnight risk. Day traders at the end of the day sell. They don't want to take the overnight risk in the morning. If you have the overnight without anything happening, in the morning, people start bidding it back up again. And that's really where it works. Now, it doesn't work all the time. We know that, right? We know that for sure, but over time, it has proven itself. So this was a good trade. I will be buying this again today at the close. All right, couple day trades for you. Here we go. This is on a 5-minute chart. This is Carnival Cruise Lines. What we did is we came down, we bounced, we came down. I like that we tested this previous low and reversed back up. So essentially we had a false breakout to the downside here from this line right here. And we also had a V1 here. I didn't take this because of this big bar, but I did wait. You see how we came down, we moved sideways, 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 you know, price discovery, consolidation, pretty tight range. I was pretty sure at this point it was going to break one way or the other. And then what we did is we had to close over the 10 EMA. Do you see how long it was since we closed above the 10 EMA? And then on this particular bar, we closed above the 10 EMA and MACD went positive. So that was my entry point. I held it for 10 minutes. It came up here, rejected the 50 RSI above it, and I got out. Not a huge trade. 1336 to 1347 percentage-wise, not bad, and especially just for 10 minutes. So I did get out here when it rejected the 1 ATR and the 50 RSI. Then it moved back down. Then it looked like it was going to take off without me. But I was happy. I was happy for the 10-minute trade. And you can see, not too bad of a place to get out now compared to what it is. All right, Apple. I also had a nice little trade on Apple. Where's my trade at? My gosh, look at this. All right, return to value trade. We're above the 1 ATR channel. We came back down. We started to move sideways a little bit, holding the close, holding that low there. Move sideways. We had a spike down and reversal. Perfect example, everyone, of a return to value, sideways motion, V2. I bought it here at 299.07. Immediately went my way. My stop was a close below halfway of the washout bar. Immediately went my way, then came back down, but did not come down and close below halfway of that washout bar. The next bar did go below halfway of the washout bar intraday and then reversed back up, plus the little V1. Then as we got up here, I took the profit here at 299.76. So I got in at 299.07 and I got it out at 299.74, so about 67 cents. But it only took, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 minutes. But the reason I got out, see the previous high over here? You see how we rejected it and then closed underneath it? That was the reason to get out. So anyway, 2 good trades. I hope these are helpful. I mean, they show more setups and kind of my thinking about how I manage them, but 2 for 2 on that. Very happy for that. Look at Apple. Boy, that's really come back down now. Now we're below the -1 ATR channel. So anyway, those are my trades for today. Very happy to have those. And so let's take a look-see over here. All right. Bing He. Bing He has had this TLT trade back here all the way since 417. Bought it here at 168.80. Went his way initially nicely. Then it was down and back up, and now we've actually lost the value zone. So anyway, Bing He, make sure if you're listening that you let me know what your plan is with this, if there's any changes here. All right. Here we have MTA. This is Dirk. Dirk bought the return to value V1 back here on the 1st of May at 547. Yesterday, it looks like it did close below halfway the washout bar and down a little bit today. I'm not 100% sure Dirk's still in this trade, but if you are Dirk and you're listening, please let me know if there's any changes here. Netflix. Bing He did buy Netflix back here on the 30th of April at 410.40. We're at now 426.76. So that one has been working nicely. Amazon, GM bought puts on this all the way down to June 18th. I think 1900. Yeah, down here. So anyway, those are probably close to break even. I'm not sure, but if you're listening, GT, let me know. VTRX, dang, you know, this was another perfect example of a return to value, sideways motion, V2, and what a beautiful trade. But I don't think Bing He was able to get that one, but it is a beautiful example of, you know, being overvalued here, waiting for it to come back into value, consolidating, moving sideways, spike down, reverse, and look at this. This would have been a fantastic trade. All right. Oh, I know why I missed those. By the way, Frank and Steve were both in the Russell 2000 trade. So we all took the same trade. We're all up on it. So good for that. Like I said, it did reject the 50% fib mark here. Let me just draw it one more time, Zach, just so I can. But you see, here's the high, here's the low. We reversed right back up and rejected that 50. So that is why I'm going to take half off. Hey, Quad Racers here. Good to see you, my friend. Looking forward to our lesson tomorrow night. Frank says, I did buy SE at the open, 56.77 for day trade, still in with my stop in place. Oh my, 56.77. Nice trading. Beautiful, Frank. Let me know, please, if there's any changes to that, and I will update. Nice. Zach says, interesting. Thanks for pointing that out, Greg. You're welcome. Now I'm obsessed with showing Zach 50 Fibonacci point numbers. Nick, Uber 27 puts for next week. Okay, I'm going to put that down after, just because I'm running out a little bit of time, but I will put those on the board. Andrea, hey, Andrea, good to see you, my friend. It's been a while. Thanks for coming back. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying your horses. Steve-O says, return to value always from above the value zone. Yeah, well, there's two types of return to values that I use. The main one is, well, I shouldn't say the main one, but technically the return to value means you are above the 1 ATR channel. You come back in the value zone. And the value zone is this green line to this green line. One standard deviation away from the mean. So you're above, you come back in, sideways motion, then you look for a trigger. There's another type of return to value. It's when you're below the negative 1 ATR channel, you rally into the value zone. You have a couple days down, and then you get a higher low V1 or V2. So if you're below the 1 ATR channel, you have to rally into the value zone. Then you get a pullback, then a higher low V1, V2. That's a higher low V1. And then the other one's return to value, where you're above, return back in. Frank says, just sold. Okay. All right. I'll take that one off then. Nice. Nice, Frank. Frank's Spidey sense going off. Dirk says, I am staying the trade if we close above EMA. 519. Okay, so you're above 50. All right. Hey, Steve Burns. Good to see you, my friend. Appreciate you being here. Always an honor, always a privilege to have you here, to be able to rub shoulders with the great Steve Burns and all the great books, his great website, New Trader U, all his the courses he has, books, all the great posting he does on at S Joseph Burns on Twitter. So thank you, Steve. I just went over our IWM trade, but appreciate you being here. Zach says NCL closing up shop maybe. Oh, yeah, that's what I heard in Origin Clearing Line. It's all good. I'm obsessed with watching them and training my eye. Well, once you train your eye, you'll see him everywhere. Andrea says, my son has COVID, so I've been a bit too stressed lately to trade. Oh, Andrea. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope he's doing well. Please give him my best. Zach says, oh, wow, sorry to hear that, Andrea. I'll be sure praying for you and family. That's nice. Thank you, Zach. On the prayer list, Andrea. Yep. Very good. Ah, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Dang it. Okay. Well, let's see how we're doing here. What am I doing? Anybody know what I'm doing? Okay, here we go. So listen, before we go down through my watch list, before we start looking for that potential end of day trade, like I said, using my three criteria, right? Confluence or combination of indicators, good risk to reward ratio, and keeping in mind correlation of positions and account heat. I do like to spend a few minutes every day. I look through Facebook, I look through Twitter. There's some really good channels out there, have really good information that post good trading words of wisdom about trader psychology or just trading in general. And this is Akil Stokes, at Akil Stokes RTM. He's a trading coach. He does some really, really good work. He puts out really good videos every day. So I would really suggest that you subscribe to him. I mean, all the channels that I, highlight here, I would suggest that you subscribe to them, because those are the channels I go back to again and again and again for these great sayings. But Akil says, I always debate which has a greater effect, my life on trading or my trading on life. Man, isn't that true? That it goes both ways. Regardless, this is a principle that I follow in both. And if you do as well, I can guarantee that you'll have better results. And what he's talking about here is a quote from Steve Clark. Do more. I believe Steve Clark is in Market Wizards, I believe. Don't hold me to that, but I know this saying: do more of what works and less of what doesn't. So what does that mean? There's a lot of different trading approaches out there. I use 4, 5 of them. But even though they're all valid, look back, take an honest look at your trading and think to yourself, what has worked best for me? Were they crossover trades? Were they return to value trades? Were they deep dip buys? Were they higher low V1s? And I teach all these different methods, but I think if I only had to take one method of what has really worked the best, do more of what works and less of what doesn't, it would be return to value trades, or higher low V1s and V2s and return to value trades. If you can go back, look at your trading, maybe you're using 3 or 4 or 5 different types of trading approaches, but be honest, look back, see what's worked the best and go, boy, you know what? This this Scooby-Doo method that I'm using over here seems to work the best. Well, it might work best for you. It may not work best for me, but the important part is what works best for you. So, think about it, be honest about it, and do more of the trades that seem to work for you, because for some reason it's probably jiving with your personality better. So do more of what works and less of what doesn't, by Steve Clark. Simple advice, but I think it is really good advice. And so, take some time, think about it, and go, what are my best trades? Maybe I should concentrate more on those kind of trades. And by the way, I debate what has a greater effect, my life on trading or my trading on life. And boy, they're interchangeable, right? Trading affects your life and life affects your trading. There is no doubt about that, man. I mean, trading is, people who don't trade, I don't think they quite understand how it can affect your life and how your life can affect trading. But anyway, if you have good risk to reward ratios, if you're being patient and disciplined in trading, that's going to help you in life as well. So thanks again, Akil Stokes, at Akil Stokes RTM on Twitter. Thanks, Dirk. Andrew says, thanks, Dirk and Scatty. He is not in the hospital. Fever has gone. The whole group home is quarantined, as a couple others have it as well. Oh, man. Wiener Dog Trading. Hey, Wiener Dog. Dear Andrea, I am so sorry to learn about your son. What is his name? All the very best to you and your family, and I hope he makes a full recovery. Thanks, Wiener. His name is Alex. Ah, man. Well, listen, I'm sure he's going to be fine. I'm certainly hope he's going to be fine. And please keep us updated, Andrea. But it is nice to have you back. And, we need one of our follow-up Skype calls. I know you're busy with this situation, but let's get one of our Skype follow-up calls just to follow up from our previous lessons, because I always like to do that with my students. So. Okay. Oh, Karen, that's right. That's funny. I knew Wiener Dog Trading was familiar, but I couldn't quite place it because I'm so used to Karen as one of my students, and I'm so used to just Karen being Karen. So, okay, Karen, good to know. And we just traded emails a little bit back and forth. So Karen's got some things she's juggling as well. So when you're done with that, Karen, please just let me know and we will get back on track with the lessons, right? Okay, well, let me see how how we're doing here. Okay. All right. Just real quick, just a reminder to me and to everyone out there today, if you are going to place a trade, please choose wisely today, by Diana Cooper. It's a good little thing to remind us, choose wisely. And what do I mean by wisely? Good confluence of indicators, combination of indicators, good risk to reward, proper position sizing, not too much correlation. right, and a proper clean setup. So this is a reminder to me and a reminder to you. Okay, here we go. Everybody ready? Amazon. Well, Amazon is back in the value zone. That's a start. Don't want to buy up here way above value. I consider this overvalue. I consider in the value zone, at value, under the value zone, undervalued. I want to buy at value or undervalued. I don't want to buy overvalued. So we are in the value zone. We did go in the value zone. We are moving kind of slightly sidewards here, but I need, now the criteria are met, but I need a trigger. Remember, there's a setup and there's a trigger. The setup is being above the 1 ATR channel into the value zone, moving sideways. That's the setup, and then I need a trigger to actually execute the trade. Boeing, oh boy, Boeing's not doing so hot. We're at 39.96. The way I look at this, I would look for a rejection of the 30 RSI, or we're under the 1 ATR channel, move back up into the value zone, then a day or two down, and then a higher low V1. See how this low here is higher than this low? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to move up, come back down, and go for a higher low V1 or V2, or a deep dip buy down to the 30 RSI. Berkshire Hathaway, man. Well, similar on Berkshire Hathaway. I'd look for a rejection of the 30 RSI for a deep dip buy. That's about the only thing I see happening here for a while. MACD went negative today. We're definitely under the 50 RSI, so everything here looks fairly negative. The only thing, we are still over the negative 3rd ATR channel if you want to look for a silver lining, but I don't see anything here on Boeing. Beyond Meat has earnings today, and by the way, earnings today is Tuesday. Walt Disney, that should be interesting. Beyond Meat, Activision, Spirit, Pinterest. So Walt Disney is going to be a pretty big one. And Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat opened much higher, reversed back off, nothing there, especially with earnings. Caterpillar, we're under the negative 1 ATR channel. Now I want to see it go back into the ATR channels, into the value zone, and look for a higher low V1, but nothing there. Carnival Cruise Line. I did have this quick little 10-minute trade here from here to here. Boy, am I glad I got out. Oof. So let's look at that. Well, look at this, way over the value zone, into the value zone now. So that's good. That's a start. We did have some support over here. See the sidewards motion here? This is what I'm looking for. Sidewards motion and then a V1, V2. Dow Jones definitely closing below the open at this point. Walt Disney, look at that big negative kangaroo tail, as Dr. Alexander Elder would call it. This is a kangaroo tail and a V1 to the downside. Nothing there. Earnings. Etsy's up 8% today, and it was up over 10. We do have earnings. Can't mess with that. Facebook, looks like everything's sold off here quite a bit from the top. I'd look for a return to value, maybe a bounce off the 200. Gold perking up a little bit here. We are in the value zone, which is good. We are going sideways. We do have a bit of a higher low V1 here. That one's not too bad. I am going to write that down. Earlier in the day, that was not looking like it was going to do anything, but now possibly. Where's my pen? Okay, so that's a possibility for later, so I'm going to check that off. Google, nice big day, hit the 3rd ATR channel. Goldman Sachs in the value zone, but no sideways motion. Home Depot up, rejected the 3rd ATR channel. IBB, nothing there. Intel was up higher earlier. Did have that V1 yesterday, but no sideways motion. And usually when you have a strong move down and then a V1, this is exactly what it does. It bounces up for maybe a day or two and then comes back down. Not all the time, but in my experience. Russell, okay, still good on that, but gave back a lot. But again, this is a perfect example of why I like to take profits, because if it does go crashing down, I've sold up here at positive levels and it helps mitigate the price back down. But this is not good price action here. And and I am going to take a quarter of my position off here today because we rejected the 50 Fibonacci number and locked some of that profit in as well. Johnson & Johnson, back in the value zone, moving sideways. Perfect. It's exactly what I want, but no trigger as of yet. CarMax, no. Coca-Cola. You know, earlier today it looked okay, but you know what? It got close to the 50 RSI, rejected the 10-day. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to pass on that. Lockheed Martin, big, nice, strong day. Up above the 200-day moving average for sure. MasterCard. Okay, so MasterCard. Let me show you. We have a 1050 EMA cross today on MasterCard. Let me show you. At least we did earlier. Do we still? 10 is 267.82. Very close. It's going to be a photo finish of the 10 and the 50. Right now it is crossing over, but it seems like we're selling off here a bit. Let me show you. I'm using this by permission from ETF Replay, but here's MasterCard using the 1050 exponential crossover, the 1050 EMA crossover. If we go back in time, you can see buy and hold returned 2,617%. This approach, the 10 crossing the 50, only returned 927, but it's still 927%, and the drawdown was half of buy and hold. But what I really want to show you is currently the wins on this is 50 and the losses are 50. It's just like flipping a coin, right? Half the time you're going to win, half the time you're going to lose. But when you win, it's 7 times more than what you lose. See how your average loss is 2% and your average win is 13? So that would be like flipping a coin, and if I win, you pay me $1, and if you win $7. You would take that bet every single time. Doesn't mean you're going to win every one, but this is essentially what these numbers say. It's a 50-50 proposition so far with the back test, and the win was 13.25 and the loss was 2, so a little under 7. But a great risk to reward ratio based upon the winning percentage. So I will be taking, as long as the 10 crosses over the 50, the 10 is 267.93. And the 50 is 267.81. All right, McDonald's, nothing there. Merck, here's a V2 with the rejection of the 50. It's not all bad, but we did reject the -1 ATR channel, so I'm going to pass on that. Microsoft, much higher earlier, as you can see. Netflix, now down, Bing, he has that, but he's still nicely in the money. Nike, off of its highs. I don't see anything there. Philip Morris down a little bit. We did reject the -1 ATR channel yesterday, but now we've rejected the 10 and the 20 above us, so nothing there. PayPal rejected, pretty close to rejecting the 70 RSI, actually. Let me take a look. 66.58. So it didn't reject the 70 RSI, but it is a bearish candle pattern, and it did reject the -3 ATR channel. Qs, silver, I'm looking for a 5 EMA crossing over the 20. SPY had the good overnight SPY trade. Going to be buying that again at the close. Teladoc into the value zone. No signals though, but better to buy in the value zone than up here. time after time after time. TLT recovering a little bit. Tesla much lower than where it opened. These are a lot of bearish bars here. Twitter, again, don't want to get excited. Buy up here. Wait for the value zone, but no trigger there. United Continental down 5%, almost 4.5%. Nothing there. Might look for a 30 RSI dip. Natural gas had a big day. Look at this. In the value zone, boom. You know, I assume natural gas is going up because of all the oversupply in gold, oversupply in oil. Wells are shutting down, what shuts down the supply of natural gas, or nothing on UNH. Oil, look at oil. Look at USO today, up 9%, 9.16%. I think oil itself was up 20%. If you remember yesterday, I was talking about that for so long we had closed below the 5 EMA, and finally we closed above the 5 EMA. At the same time, we had the MACD crossover. So this is somewhat bullish for oil here. VIX, don't see anything there. Verizon, nope. Walgreen, oh boy, look at that big reversal, V1. Walmart, nope. Energy Select, no. Financials, nothing there. Real estate, nothing there. Utilities, nothing there. Healthcare, big day on healthcare. We came into the value zone, but we didn't get a trigger, unfortunately. And Zoom in the value zone. So we have a lot of things in the value zone here. The two things I'm looking at here today, this is gold. It is in the value zone. We have a higher low V1 in the value zone above 50. I kind of like it. I actually kind of like it. My stop would be here, close below here, halfway, giving myself a good risk to reward ratio. I have these moving averages below me now. I have the 50 RSI as support below me. And if I'm wrong pretty quick. If I'm right, I could be right up to here. So I do like gold there. And MasterCard, as long as it actually crosses over. And right now, 267.92, 267.81. Hold on, I have to make a change in an account that I manage here. Okay, that's done. Yeah, so for me, it looks like MasterCard and gold, and I'm selling half of my not half, I'm selling a quarter of my IWM because it rejected the 50 RSI. Okay. Dirk says, this is a great community. I was wondering if there are traders in the room that have written filter scripts and or indicators by Greg, and this for TradingView. Dirk, I can't remember now. Bing He was nice enough to send a script for some moving average crossovers. Dirk, did I already send you those? Now I can't remember, or maybe that was Zach. But Bing He was nice enough to he did write some filters, or he did write some scripts for moving average crossovers for TradingView. So Dirk, if that interests you, just email me and I'll send those to you. Steve Burns, hi Karen, she is in my group as well. Oh, perfect. Yes, I am. Wonderful spaces, both Steve and Greg. Thank you, Karen. Andrea says Greg has a great setting has a great setting file for TOS, Dirk. Yes, I do. I have a good template for TOS for my chart settings. So if you need that, let me know. Dan says, Andrea, I can recommend asking them if they check his pulse oxygen level. If not, one can be bought over the counter at Walgreens for oxygen saturation. Oh, good to know. Andrea, they do have one, and I've been asking them to check it twice daily. Uber Guy, I'm very new here. Is this a good place to learn where to invest, etc.? Hey, Uber Guy, appreciate you being here. Well, I do my best to talk about, how to trade and good trading principles. So I guess you'll have to decide whether or not you think it's valuable or not. But I appreciate you coming by. And I think if you watch a few times, you'll start kind of dialing in and seeing if it's for you. Christopher, hey, good to see you, sir. Appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a good evening in the UK. Andrea, on the good side, my company got its PPP loan. Oh, that's fantastic. I was talking about that, Andrea. Interesting that you say that. I was talking about, I have a student that has a small business. I wonder if she was able to get her loan. So fantastic news. Hey, Bing He, good to see you. Appreciate you being here, my friend. Kamal, hey, Kamal, good to see you. Bing He. I missed the entry on IBB on Market Open. IBB has a nice setup with a cup and handle. Oh, let's look. I haven't looked for cup and handle for a bit. How are we doing on time? 8 minutes. Okay. Dirk says, thanks, Greg. We'll mail you. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. So, what is my plan for today? Gold. We were above the value zone, in the value zone, sideways movement. We didn't get a trigger, but now we have this higher low V1. It's a little on the borders. On the washout, it's still pretty good, but I do like that it's above 650 RSI. I do like that we are above the moving averages here. And then the last one to look at here is going to be MasterCard. 268.12, 267.85. So that one would qualify. Yeah, Scatty, please, please email me. And my email's down in the description of this video, and I will be happy to send you the links. Dirk says, Greg, regard to MA, isn't there a 200 moving average above you? Yes, there is. But this is a crossover trade, so I give that all a little bit more room because of the crossovers. Now, if I buy it here and it rejects the 200, then I'll probably take some off. I'll probably take some off, if not all of it. But the back test is pretty dang good on this. And by the way, I'm position sizing $23.06 below me, 2 ATR. So let me just show you that real quick. How we doing? So let's say my maximum loss on any trade was $1,000, right? $1,000 divided by 2306 means I would buy 43 shares. And the thing that I like about the 2 ATR way to position size, it's factoring in how big the bars are over the last 20 days. And it helps me set a maximum loss. If I decide, hey, my maximum loss on any one trade is going to be $1,000. Let's say I have $100,000 and I'm going to risk 1% of that on any one trade. Well, that would be $1,000, right? Divided by the reading of the 2 average true range. And that tells me to buy however many shares that was. It was 43 or whatever. So yeah, I see that up there. It does concern me a little bit. But I am position sizing pretty pretty small because of the large average true range here, and I'll just have to make a decision. But just stand alone, when I showed you these results, this is standalone. It doesn't have any other filters. It doesn't matter what moving averages are above it, or if from a strictly mechanical standpoint. Oops. Okay. So I have a few trades I have to do here in a few different accounts. So what I'm going to do, okay, so what I'm going to do right now, just so I don't have to, okay, I'm going to buy the gold. Okay. All right, let's get over here to MasterCard. $267.80, $267.91. So I'm going to have to wait on that one there for a minute. See if that really is going to cross over. It looks like it's going to. Okay. That I'm selling a quarter of my IWM and buying the SPY. So that's the plan. Yeah, I saw that, Kamal. I appreciate that. But I felt like it was close enough because of the, and I appreciate you telling me that because I asked you to, but I did like over here on gold, I did like the fact that it's higher low and that it is above the 5 and the 10, and it got down here and tested here. And with the market kind of losing some of its value here at the end of the day, that's the other reason. But I still kind of like it. I feel like it still gives me a good risk to reward ratio, and I like the higher low. Okay, so well, it looks like it's going to go 267.91, 267.81. All right, looks okay. Okay, so I did buy gold, I did buy MasterCard, and at the end of the day, I'm selling a half of the IWM and I'm buying SPY. So everything is on autopilot. Hey, Mount Doji, what's going on, bud? Sorry, I didn't see that there. LVS. Well, it's a V2, but again, we went down. It's just not a lot of sideways motion here. Sorry, Mount Doji, I always seem to, I don't want to rain on your parade, but me personally, it came down, it came down, it came down. So it's just gone down, and now we have a bump, and we're right up against that 50 moving average downward sloping. So that's my opinion. Bing He says RMD looks interesting. Yeah, it does. In the value zone, sideways motion, V1, V2, over the 50 RSI. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, that's a tight range. That's going to start moving one way or the other. But, if I would have taken that trade right here, halfway below here would be my washout and potential up here. Quad Racer says, have to jump onto an appointment. Thanks, Greg. See you tomorrow evening. Okay, buddy. Sounds good. I look forward to it. Mount Doji says, you are never raining on the parade. I look forward to hearing what your point of view is for the charts I see. Okay, fair enough. Good. I was just trying to be honest. All right. So real quick, let's see. Where did I get filled here? So I bought SPY at 283.57, and I bought gold at 160.97. So let's get those on the board. Bump. $160. Oh no. I'm on SPY. Okay. Where's my SPY? 283.57. Wait a minute. $286.19. Sorry, I was looking at the other price. Okay. 286.19. That seems more like it. 286.19. And then gold. All right, and I did buy gold at 160.97. And that's exactly where it is. Okay, again, my stop on gold is going to be halfway of this washout bar, right about there. All right, an IWM. Okay, I did hit the 2 profit targets there, and I did take a quarter off at the end of the day because I didn't like the rejection of the 50 Fibonacci. So that's it. So IWM still profitable, SPY, the new overnight SPY trade here, and then gold here. Listen, I'm going to get to the rest of the comments, questions, anything you want to talk about, please just let me know if you want me to look at charts. Before I do, just quickly want to put in my quick little daily plug and let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I've traded for 24 years. I've studied with 4 wonderful traders and coaches and authors, Stephen Burns, Larry Williams, Dr. Alexander Elder, Carrie Lavorne. I've worked one-on-one with all 4 of these gentlemen and great traders. And in my course, I teach you everything I've learned over the last 24 years and everything I've learned from them. The course is 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours. It's very interactive. And in my opinion, the best way to teach and to learn, or the best way to teach and to learn, is one-on-one. You get the most attention. You can ask questions right when you have them. It's in real time. So that's why when I decided, how I was going to teach, I thought, I just want to do one-on-one. It's the best value. Students learn the most, and that's why I offer it. So the course is $1,000. I think it's worth every single penny. I really do. I think when you're done with the course, you're going to have a very good handle on how to approach all sorts of different kind of markets. And so, if you're interested in potentially doing these lessons with me, just reach out to me. The email's in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter. And what I like to do, if somebody's interested in potentially taking the course, I like to have a Skype call with them. It's free. There's no obligation, I promise you. But I just think it's the best way for them to ask me questions about the course. It's a way for me to ask them questions about them, their trading, how they got into it, what their challenges are, what their goals are. And, after we do the Skype call, if we both feel like it's a good thing to move forward, then we'll move forward. We'll schedule the lessons. But like I said, it's $1,000. I really do think it's worth every penny. And, I bring my A game to the teaching because it's very important to me that my students do well and are able to trade profitably, have a good knowledge of the market. So, I really do my very best to teach you everything I can. So if you're interested, please let me know. And then if you like today's podcast, if you find it valuable, all I would ask is that you would just hit the thumbs up button real quick on the way out of here. It just helps to build the channel. There's a lot of people out there that need help with trading and learn some good trading principles. So if you don't mind, and if you found it valuable, I would appreciate it if you could before you clicked out. Bing, he says, RMD looks interesting. RSI 50 crossover multiple. Is that the one we just looked at? Yeah, it is. Okay. Wiener Dog in gold, 161. All right. Where did I get in it? I got in at 160.97, so very close. Oh, MasterCard. Let's take a look. $273.87. 273.87. Thank you for that. I forgot to put that on there. Let's see. So $273.87. And again, this was because of the 10-50 EMA crossover. If price closes below both the 10 and the 50, I'll get out of half. If the 10 closes under the 50 EMA on a mechanical basis, I'll get rid of the second half. On the way up, I will scale. I'll see how it reacts. If it goes up, I'll see how it reacts around the 200-day. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me about that. Dirk says, I am in MasterCard at 274.10. You can put me on the board. Okay. Dirk is on. Karen is on. Gold. Good, good. Miko 25 is on gold. Oops, what's going on here? And by the way, Miko, we need to have our follow-up call as well. See how things are going for you. Dan, Greg, do you mind checking your database to see what moving averages crossovers did well for index Dow Jones? U.S. completion market index. So Dan, you're asking which crossovers work well on the Dow Jones? Glenn says MA on the weekly is still below 50 RSI. Yeah, I did notice that, we definitely have some resistance on the weekly for sure. You know, if I remember correctly, I do not think that there are a lot of good crossovers on the Dow Jones Industrial. You can see here's the DIA, the 1050 crossover. It only made 83.5, so not particularly great. We can try the 520. Not very profitable either. We could go with just a strict 200-day moving average. Not so good. And the 250, you know, in my experience, the SPY and the Qs have much better back tests than the Dow Jones. Dirk says, Greg, do you know all of the working back tests by heart for the complete watch list? No, but I have a pretty good idea. I mean, you can see down here, not these tabs, but these tabs. You know, I put these down here to remind myself. Here's Apple. I know the 1050 or the 200 works well. On Facebook, I know the 1050 SMA works well. I know on the IWM, the 1050 SMA. Here's QLD, the 1050 EMA, or the 200, right? Q's 520 EMA, Amazon 550 SMA, Google 1030 EMA. So, I mean, I have them here as reminders, but I wouldn't say I know every single one, but I have a pretty good idea. And if I don't, then I just checked. Dan says, no, it's a different index for small and mid. Do you have a symbol, Dan? And I can try running it. Glenn says, Greg, I like the 5 EMA, 10 EMA crossover. FS Max. Let me try and see if we have it. FS Max. Yeah, see, sorry, the ETF chosen is unavailable. So it doesn't allow me to do this one. Glenn says, Greg, I like the 5 EMA, 10 EMA crossover. On which symbol, Glenn? We can test it out if you like. Nick, Uber 27 puts. Well, let's get Nick on the board there. I almost forgot that. $27 puts for next week. So next week is the 15th. So $27 puts. $5, $15, $20, $20 puts for Nick. Oops. All right, I've got you down there, Nick. So what Nick wants is he wants Uber to go below 27 bucks, right? If it doesn't and it goes up, he's going to lose the premium that he paid. And if it goes down, he will make money as long as he overcomes the volatility of what's priced into the earnings. Okay, I think I got everybody on the board. In case anybody has any changes, let me know. SPY. All right, let's take a look at SPY on the 510 EMA. So that's, that's the good thing about being able to back test is that, you can test these things. So 510 EMA, do I have that right? 5 EMA, 10 EMA crossover on the SPY. All right, here we go. Well, these results here, Glenn, you can see they don't backtest very well over time. Doesn't mean you can have some nice winners using it, but over the long run, the 5-10 EMA crossover since 2000 has not done very well. It's had about a 39% win rate. The wins are larger, but all in all, it looks pretty break even. Dan, when you talked about that other symbol, let's see. If I was looking for a crossover for that particular in your 401k, I would probably look at the IWM because the IWM is more mid caps and so forth. And so you could probably use the 1050 SMA crossover as a proxy for that in your 401k. I don't think it'd be exact, but I think it would be pretty close. Kamal says, check drawdown on that 510. Okay. Yeah, the drawdown, on the 510 EMA crossover is a little better than buy and hold, but not much, especially compared to how much better it back tested at just buying and holding compared to that. Now, and I knew this. I knew the 510 didn't work well on SPY just from experience. But, let's bump that up to the 1050 exponential on SPY. Much better. And the drawdown, much better. I haven't done too many back tests where I've found that the 510 works very well. The 520 is about the best one, the shortest one, but even that doesn't work on everything. Across the board, the crossover that without back testing everything and checking everything kind of across the board, the 1050 seems to be the best crossover for most products, most symbols. Not every specific one, but just in general. All right. Well, listen, I'm very grateful to have had a good day today. Happy with IWM. It did come off. It did come back, but again, I'm really glad that I hit a couple profit targets. Really glad that I took a quarter of the remaining position off because of this rejection of the 50 RSI. So that lightens the load, that lightens the mount, and because this was not a good close. And then SPY, of course, really nice overnight SPY trade, but I've had a couple dingers too in the last couple days. But this one definitely helped. We'll see how that goes forward. Gold. Again, I did buy this. I like that we came into the value zone. I like that we moved sideways. We went up today. I like the big, not the big washout, because I'm not sure technically, at least from what Kamal tells me, because he has a really cool program that shows that. But I just kind of eyeballed this. But I do like the higher low. This is almost like a return to value, normal return to value, but on top of it with the higher low V1 and crossing above the 5 and the 10, and we got close to pegging the 20 here, and I like being over the 50. So that's why I took it, and it does definitely offer a good risk reward, and I like how it reversed and went positive today as the market sold off. And then lastly, MasterCard with the 1050 EMA crossover, right? Doesn't mean it's going to win. It only wins 50% of the time, so it's basically a coin flip. But in general, the results say that if it's to the upside, it will be a larger win to the downside. I mean, let's actually look at that real quick and actually look at real trades, right? We looked at this earlier, 50-50 win rate, medium win 13.25, medium loss 2. I mean, you know, with those odds, you take that trade every single time. Again, coin flip, heads you win $6, tails you lose $1. That's a pretty good proposition. But look at this. I mean, these are the trades. And with these crossover trades, what you're going to find is if you're wrong, you're going to be wrong quickly and small. Here's an 8.9% loss. That wasn't too small, but look at the gains. 24, 19, 8% loss, 21 gain, 1% loss, 9% loss. You know, and here you go on a big string. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 losses in a row, but they're small. 1%, 2%, 1%, 2%. Then you throw a 70%er in there. Look, here's a 105, a 35, right? And today, after this uploads, you know, it will show the new trade. All right, let me run over here. All right, any news on Disney? I know we have Disney earnings today. What about Beyond Meat? Ooh, Beyond Meat looks like it's up 2.84%. Okay. Miko says, thank you, Greg. Enjoy your afternoon. Talk to you later. Yes, please. Let's get together, Miko. You just let me know so we can do that follow-up. Dan says, I also took gold. Oh, man. Now we've got a lot of gold bugs in here. All right. Marcella, hey, how you doing? Hello, Greg. You always buy and sell the same position, or you add papers to your same position? Not sure I understand that. You always buy and sell the same position, or you add papers to your same position. Marcella, are you talking about the SPY trade? Because I do that every day. Dirk says, need to leave. See you tomorrow. Thanks, Dirk. Appreciate it. How does it work? Is all the time buy and sell the total? Well, if you're talking about buying and selling the same position, Marcella, no, okay, I'm not 100% sure, but you know, I will take a percentage of my total capital. That is going to be my maximum loss on a trade. So say you have $100,000, say my maximum risk is $1,000, 1%, that's $1,000. If I had $1 million and I was risking 1%, I'd risk $10,000 on a trade. Then I divide it by the value of the 2 ATR, and that tells me how many shares to buy. So it's not like I'm always buying 200 shares of this or 400 shares of that or 500 shares. It depends every day, depending on what the value of the 2 ATR value number is, depending on which stock. So I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, but no, I don't always buy the same amount of stock. It depends on what the value of the 2 ATR is based upon the volatility. Yes, the SPY. Um, the SPY, yeah, a little different. But let me just explain, just so that you're really clear on this. Like probably the best way to do it. You know, there's the best way and then there's the lazy way. But let's just say you had $100,000 and you were going to risk 1%, right? So that's $1,000. So $1,000 divided by 1440, which is the 2 ATR, divided by 1440 would tell me to buy 69 shares, right? And if my count value went up and 1% of the value was larger, then I'd use that number. And the 2 ATR might be different tomorrow. You can see. Let me just show you every day here. Here at 16, if I go one day, 16.58, 16.78, 15.87, 15.98. Right now we're down to 1440. So the larger the number, the smaller amount of shares, the smaller the number, the larger amount of shares you're going to buy. So that is really the way to do it. Take your maximum loss, which is usually 1% of your capital, divide it by the reading of the 2 ATR, and that will give you the proper amount to buy every day. Bing He says, for IWM, the weekly chart has a bearish kangaroo tail. Yes, it certainly does. Meaning it opened lower, went up and down. And you see how today, or this week, got right to the halfway of that move. 50% fib rejection. And essentially this was the move. And that's what I was talking about. The high to the low, rejection of the 50 fib right here. And that's why I took off an additional quarter, or I took off an additional quarter of my position day in addition to the profit targets that I hit. Marcella says, I thought you buy and sell always the same positions of the SPY. Sometimes, Marcella, I do. You're right. Generally, I'll just pick this many shares, right? And I'll just kind of go with it for the year. But really the best way, it takes an extra 15 seconds a day. I don't know why I do it. I don't do it. I probably should. But like, let's just say at the beginning of the year, I have 200 shares every night overnight, right? If I use the approach that I just showed you, sometimes it would be 195 shares. Sometimes it would be 205 shares. Sometimes it would be 211. Other times it would be 167, right? But in the past, generally I have just picked a regular amount. But probably the better way to do it is just take your maximum loss, divide it by the reading of the 2 ATR every day. That's the more accurate way. Well, looks like Disney's up a little bit after hours. Beyond Meat's up nicely after hours. Gold's down a little bit. MasterCard's down a little bit. And SPY's down a little bit. 0 for 3. Man, what a day in oil today. Disney reports 58% drop in operating income from parks and cruises, its worst hit segment. This is going to be the key, though. This is bad news, but is the stock going to go up on bad news? That's the interesting point. And it's up. Right? There you go. You never know. All right, everybody. Listen, I am going to head on out of here. It's a beautiful day in Utah. I'm going to go for a hike. Looking forward to that. Please try to go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just say hello, be friendly, be nice, maybe give somebody a call, just check in on them. during this time that we're going through here now, they really, really might appreciate that. And Andrea, thank you so much. And all of our thoughts and prayers go out to your son, Alex, and please keep us updated. And but I'm sure it's going to work out fine. I really hope. I'm sure it will. Looks like he's being taken care of. And thank you for sharing with that. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm sure we're all thinking about your son, Alex, today. Okay, and just a reminder to Andrea, we need our follow-up call. Just our reminder to Miko, we need our follow-up call. And a reminder to Karen, we need to continue with our lessons, right? Okie doke. And let's see. And Kyle, I don't know if Kyle is listening, but you and I also need a follow-up call now that you're done with your lessons as well. And I hope you're doing well, Kyle, if you're listening today. So listen, thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Be good, be safe. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button on the way out, just a quick reminder, if you could, I would really appreciate that. So have a good rest of your day. And hopefully see you tomorrow during the last hour. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye now. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.